Here's a fascinating conversation I had with Rav Goldwicht, the head of Smichas Chaver, certainly one of the biggest Marbitzei Torah in the world, and also Rav in Ranana about what's going on in Eretz Yisrael, what many of the Rabbanim in Eretz Yisrael are dealing with. Joining us from Ranana in Eretz Yisrael is Rav Goldwicht. Rav Goldwicht is the head of Smichas Chaver, which is a program that gives a mini smicha to Balabatim, Young Galai, to want to become experts in various areas of halacha. I believe it's in over 200 locations on 5 continents. He's also Rav in Ranana, and as I have to put a disclaimer here for press reasons, he also happens to be my son-in-law. So welcome, Rav Yada. What's it like being a Rav in Eretz Yisrael during this war?
So I can tell you on a personal level, it's hard being a Jew anywhere in the world. I think at this time when there's so much suffering in Am Yisrael, and especially when you're part of the shul, where a majority of the people go to the army, have kids in the army, they're fighting on the front line. I can tell you just about every single Shabbos since Simchas Torah, there's a soldier that comes in on Shabbos and he benches Goma. The first Shabbos Bereshis, we had a soldier with shrapnel in his head, his arms. He was on one of the bases on Simchas Torah. He comes in and he benches a Goma. So it's a real thing. You see it. We have a fantastic kehila called Kilat Lev Ranana KLR. And it's really incredible people, Bnei Aliyah, that are looking to strive and to grow and to get closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And there's a lot of pain and suffering in Am Yisrael in general. And then there's also, specifically in our shul, we had a personal tragedy, I guess you can say. Parshas Vayigash, which was about 2.5 weeks ago, we had a soldier who came in for the first time in 80 days. He came home, he was deployed in Simchas Torah, and he came back on Parshas Vayigash. His name was Yaron Chitris. And he came in and we gave him an aliyah, and his brother had a baby that week. So he got 2 aliyahs later. He got his aliyah. And every time when a soldier comes in, so after he benches a goma, we don't just say amen and we should gamalcha, we also sing a niggin. So we sing Taiv L'Haidai /Am, Taiv L'Haidai /Am, Unezamer Neshim Echayim, or Am Yisrael Chai, or any other songs giving thanks to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And then 2 aliyahs later, his brother gets an aliyah and he names his baby daughter. And then that Sunday, and he surprised his whole family. His whole family got together. His mother didn't know he was coming in, and it was a very emotional Shabbos for them. It's the first time they saw him in months. That week, unfortunately, on Tuesday, he got killed in Gaza. And his levaya was on Thursday. His father was in South Africa for business, and the levaya was on Thursday, and it was a heart-wrenching levaya. Every levaya is heart-wrenching, but when you see it from close, when you see the parents, the family, the brothers, the sisters, there's no words to describe it. There's no words to describe the pain and the suffering. And he was, he was basically engaged. He had a girl. They were planning to get married right after the war. And there's so many of these. They're called in Eretz Yisrael almanais without rings. Because to all the single people listening to the show, so imagine all the people who went on dozens of dates, and then you dated all different types of men, and girls dating boys, and boys dating girls, and then finally you find the right one, and you're ready, and you're excited, and you're talking about how you're going to live together and get old together, and where you're going to send your kids to school, and getting ready for the chasna plan, and then it all ends in a heartbeat. He gave up his life for Am Yisrael. So it was a very difficult week. It was a very difficult week for, as I said, for Am Yisrael, but for our community in particular. And then just going to the Shiva, the family is an incredible family. They made Aliyah around, I would say, I think 20 or 30 years ago. And they helped build, Torah in Ranana. They funded a lot of the shuls here, and they even with the whole family, they're all really incredible. And they decided Friday night that instead of just doing, coming to shul, they wanted to have a citywide Kabbalah Shabbos. So there's like a Times Square of Ranana called the Yad Labanim. About 4,000 or 5,000 people came, and there was a Kabbalah Shabbos with a mechitza right down the middle. And I don't know if those are following in the news of what happens here in Eretz Yisrael on Yom Kippur with a mechitza in Tel Aviv. Yes, mechitza, no mechitza, this back and forth. There was a mechitza right down the middle. It was a Kabbalah Shabbos. It was obviously mixed with a lot of singing, but also crying. And it was very difficult. I can share with you what I said on Shul on Shabbos, very b'ktsara, but Shabbos morning, so the whole family comes, and the father is there, the mother is there, the brothers, the sisters, and I told the Shul, I said, if Yaron was at Kabbalah Shabbos, if somehow he could have come down from Shammai and we would have given him a microphone and he could have spoken to each of us, what would he tell us on that Kabbalah Shabbos? 5,000 Jews from all of Ra'anana, religious, not religious, the mayor was there, everyone came. What would he tell each and every one of us? So I told him, I said, when Yaakov, he asks to be buried in Eretz Yisrael, so he gives two commandments. He says, Al tikreni b'Mitzrayim, v'shacharti mavosai. Two different things. One is, don't leave me here in Chutz La'aretz, don't leave me here in Mitzrayim. And the second one is, bury me in Eretz Yisrael. And some of them, the first one explains that there's two aspects of Jews coming to Israel. There are Jews who run away from America, from Chutz La'aretz, wherever it is, or the anti-Semitism coming from France, wherever it is. And then there are Jews who are pulled to Eretz Yisrael. You're either pushed to Eretz Yisrael or you're pulled to Eretz Yisrael. And that's the second value of the Shachati Mavosai, of understanding that Eretz Yisrael is the place where Abraham and Yitzchak and Yaakov and the Shvatim walked, and David and Shlomo. And it's a place where we connect to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So I said the whole family, when they came to Eretz Yisrael, they didn't just come because they were running away from something. They came because they realized the value of Eretz Yisrael. I said, what would he tell us? What would he tell us in this moment? So I shared with them a story. Baruch Hashem, I was zochet to have a baby girl on Thursday, on the day of the Levaya, and my amazing wife. So she went into labor, so we went to the hospital, and I'm looking at my watch. It's 1 o'clock. We get to the hospital. The Levaya starts at 3. So at 2:30, my wife turns to me and she says, "You have a Levaya to go." I said, "But you're in labor, right? I can't leave you here." She says, "No, it's more important to go to the Levaya." So I go to the Levaya, and also 2,000 people there just crying, hearing the father speak, the mother speak, and people who gave up everything. And then I come back to the hospital. Baruch Hashem, my wife didn't give birth yet. A few hours later, she gave birth, and then the nurse hands me the baby. So I hold the baby, and the first thing I do is I make a shachiyanu, like the Mishabura says. When you have a baby girl, you say shachiyanu. And then I said, "Thank you, Yaron. Thank you, Yaroni, for allowing my wife to give birth in Eretz Yisrael. Thank you, Yaroni, for allowing me to live in Eretz Yisrael." And I think that's the message she would tell every soldier that gives up his life. He's really giving up his life, not just for the Jews in Eretz Yisrael, the Jews in Chutz La'aretz as well. I hope you feel this as well. Hamas wants to annihilate every Jew. They're not interested in Eretz Yisrael. It's in their doctrine. Every Jew, Ba'asher Husham, whether you're walking in America, in France, in England, wherever you are, they want to annihilate every single Jew. It happens to be the Jews in Eretz Yisrael. We're the front ones there. We're the first one there. So we're the first wave. We're taking it for you, Kiviyachal. So what the message, what I think, what he might, I don't know what he would say, but this is my suggestion. What he would say, "I saved your life. I gave up everything for you. I gave up my entire life for you. There's nothing more that I can give. At least now live a life that was worth saving. I gave up everything. I have nothing left. But now what are you going to do with it? Are you going to be a yid that's always, running away? Or are you going to be a yid that's v'shachanti mavosai, that understands the Mesorah, understands the shalselis of the Mesorah, not just to make a physical aliyah, but also to make a spiritual aliyah. I understand people in Chutz La'aretz can't make always a physical aliyah, but at least a spiritual aliyah, b'asher usham, every person should try to make a spiritual aliyah, and realize that these soldiers are giving up their lives for us. And really, it's the fundamentals, the ABCs of a cars, let's say, right? It's and this explains in Shmos. You have Moshe Rabbeinu. What does it say? It says, "Vayigdal Moshe vayipel lachav." What does he do? What does he do when he goes out to his brother? Vayar b'sivloisam. That's it. He's going to see and feel another yid suffer. That's it. He wants to. He can't stay in the palace when he knows that there's other yidden that are suffering and that are in pain. So that's and the Medrash also says that. Why do we call him Moshe? Moshe is Batya, the daughter of Paro, gave him that name. Sitya. She was a guy, according to some Mefarshim. She wasn't even this guy. So it says the Medrash, Bo Re'eh, come see how great the Hakaras Tzedek needs to be. That she saved his life. So we call Moshe, Kiminamayim, the Medrash, there's 10 names for Moshe, Vigdor, etc. But we give the name of Moshe. Why? Because the one who saved his life is the one who named him that. So all these soldiers are saving your life. They're saving my life. They're saving wherever you are. That's how we need to feel. And the deep sense of gratitude I think we need to feel that deep sense of gratitude. It's the Aleph Beis. All of Sefer Shemais is all about Akar Tzatav. Moshe, he doesn't hit the Nile River, he doesn't hit the ground because he was saved. It's the Aleph Beis, the thing that saves you. The least you can do is just say a thank you, but it's not just a thank you. It's actually, feeling the pain, it starts with feeling the pain of what the families here are going through, and how difficult it is. I can tell you on Shabbos, the Shabbos after he was nifter, so Avelim don't get an aliyah. But his uncle was there. His uncle is not an Aval, so we gave him an aliyah. So right before him, there was a soldier who came back from Gaza. So we sang for him, Tov Lodas Hashem. Right afterwards was the uncle of Yaron, who got an aliyah. And I felt we had to sing something. And in my mind, I was thinking, if we sing a sad song, people might cry. And on Shabbos, crying on Shabbos is not so pashut. But the halacha is that if a person is crying in order to break the pain, sometimes the crying actually heals. So then it's mutter. So we started singing. We sang Lemancha. If you know, Eitan Katz is Lemancha. And then the high part. And we sing that a few times. And everyone was crying. But we felt his neshama. His neshama was there. And it's difficult. It's you wake up in the morning and you realize that there are neighbors of yours, parents who lost everything. I was there. I went a few times to be Menachem Aval, and I was there on past Tuesday, which was their second to last day of Shiva. And there was another family in Ra'anana who also lost a son in Gaza, who were also sitting Shiva, but they got up that day. They got up on the Tuesday that I was there. While this family, the Chitters family, they were there on, your own family was there on, we're still sitting Shiva. So naturally, the other family who just got up from Shiva, they came to be Menachem Aval, which just to think about that for a second, they lost their son, this other family, and the first thing they do after they do the Aliyah L'Kever, first they do let's go be Menachem Aval, another family who just went through the same thing, who are still sitting Shiva. And they both walk into the room. And they tell the parents, these are the other parents who just lost a child, and to see the two fathers embrace and the two mothers embrace, and they never met each other before. They never said a word to each other before. And just both of them just crying in ocean of tears. Just, they hold each other and they're crying and crying and crying and crying and crying. And each one trying to be Menachem Aval, the other one, and they're wiping away each other's tears, and they're telling each other to stay strong, and they're telling each other that their children died al Kiddush Hashem, and it's the greatest thing that you're like Avram Avinu, you're like Chana v'Shiva Banah, you're like every big tzaddik that gave up their lives al Kiddush Hashem. They're trying to be Menachem Aval one another. It's just again, everyone at that shiva at that moment was mamish bawling. And where did these people get the strength? I have no idea. I have no idea where they get the strength to get up, to continue to. It's fascinating how much the Jewish heart can take, how much pain and suffering it can hold and stay bottled in. But that's the nature. That's the nature of what's going on here. And like I mentioned before, there's dozens of pregnant almanos also. There was, I think, Shai Graucher does, and he's famous on Instagram and on social media. He does a lot of things. They did an event for over a dozen women whose husband got killed, and they're pregnant. So these are children that are being born Yisayim. Mamish Yisayim they're being born Yachim. Something that I don't think it's precedent of having something like this in the history of Am Yisrael, where you have kids being born Yisayim. You had times where there were Holocausts where everyone got killed, but here it's over a dozen of almanas that are pregnant, and they're going to the birth alone, and they're going to be raising their children alone, and it's the saddest thing to stop and think about it, and people in Chutz La'aretz should hear this, and they should feel the pain, and whatever you can do, send a letter, send an email, I don't know what, try to find the people that are sitting Shiva every day. You wake up in the morning here, unfortunately, and in Israel it's called Zutar Lepilsum, which means we're allowed to publicize it now. And people are scared to in the morning to check the news. Every morning you hear of another family that's lost. And then at the same time, the families that have their siblings or children or husbands and wives that are serving in the army, whenever someone knocks on their door, their heart drops. the way in Israel, when a soldier falls in battle, you don't get a phone call. What happens is that two soldiers, two Ketzinim, come and they knock on the door and they inform the family that this individual, son, husband, wife, whatever it is, got killed in battle. So these families that have children or husbands that are in war, every time someone knocks on the door, their heart drops to their pants. They push it. They like, is it happening now? Am I getting that knock on the door? So it's like in Israel now, it's become a custom. When you're going to visit, if you're going to even to borrow, a cucumber from your next door neighbor, instead of usually you would just knock on his door and have a cucumber. Sure, take a cucumber. I have a cucumber. Now you call them up beforehand. Hi, is it okay if I come and knock on your door and borrow a cucumber? Because just knocking on someone's door when their family they have siblings that are in Gaza, it's a frightening thing. So that's the Metzias in one side. On the Metzias on one side, you have the pain, you have the suffering, you have the almano, you have the Yisraelim. And on the other hand, Amenetzach, Lo mefached miderech haruka. We're not scared of a long way. And the soldiers are brave, and Am Yisrael is brave, and we have the limited Torah that are behind us, and the people who are doing the mitzvahs and ma'asim tovim and the tefillas. But we can't become accustomed to it. We can't. Okay, we've been in battle for a few months now. Let's tmidim kesidram and stuff and kill custom. It has to be every day. We need to wake up with renewed energy and a renewed passion. And there was a soldier who came out of Gaza this week who spoke in our shul, and he said, and he got up and he said, you don't understand, we're destroying Hamas over there. He said it's a process, but we're yadinu ala ulyona. So there is a morale, and it's at the same time we realize that we have to really it's mamish like Mechias Amalek. I think Rav Shachar says that Hamas has a din of Amalek. Anyone who wants to be ma'abid, taf v'noshim, nar dezakim b'yom echad, which is what they would do. So they have the din of Amalek. So on the one hand, Am Yisrael Chaim, and they're strong, and people are really strengthening one another to stay strong. But on the other hand, you also have so much pain and so much suffering, and it's so difficult. But you have to open your heart. You have to cry when people are crying, and you have to be happy when people are happy. When a soldier comes home, you dance, you sing with him, you schmooze with him, you say thank you. And then when you have someone who nebuch is lost his life, so you cry with the family, you sit with them, you talk to them, and again, whatever people can do in Chutz La'aretz and Eretz Yisrael, both for sure in Tefillah and Limudat Torah and mitzvot and ma'asim tovim, do it and do more, right? Whatever you think you can do, I maxed out. No, you can always do more. And then also sending emails, calling up the phone. Calling is usually difficult in the yeshiva houses, but sending flowers. Find out what their address is and say, hi, I'm someone from Chutz La'aretz, and I heard your pain is not your own pain. It's my pain also. Your son gave up his life, not just for you living in Ranana, but also for me in New York and in whatever. And it has an effect. People give stuff, and you'll realize when people send gifts to the Shiva house, what do the Avelim say? When someone comes in, you see those flowers, you see those balloons, you know where we got that from? That's someone in Cincinnati sent that to me. Someone in New York sent that to me. And it really gives them a sense of nechama. It gives them a sense of nechama. So whatever Am Yisrael can do by sharing some to Vayar v'sivloisam. I think it's these week's parshios of seeing the sivloisam of Yisrael. I think that would go a long way.
Thank you very much for your time, Rabbi Yada. How are you able to prepare your yichaburis, your weekly yichaburis on Smichas Chaver with everything going on with the war?
Just like every other yid is pushing himself. You put yourself out. So this Yaron, when he came back on Shabbos, that Shabbos Parshas Vayigas that he was alive, he was having a meal with his family, and naturally you haven't seen your brother, your son in 80 days. You want to schmooze and catch up, and then halfway through the meal he stops and he says, "It can't be that the soldiers in Gaza sing more zmiros than we're singing right now." And he says, "Now let's stop and sing zmiros." And for an hour they sing zmiros, and they lifted up. So a person, when something's important, you find the time. When you make the time. We're definitely sleeping more comfortably and better than the soldiers in Gaza, wherever you're sleeping. So whenever you think that you maxed out and you're doing too much, you're not doing too much. You can do more.
Thank you very much, Rav Goldwicht.
Yeah, Shukar Gadol.